Hey, it's Mark with another Super Bowler Smash Attack video, and today we have a central town hall ring base. The core, it's a heavy core. All the main big defenses are inside the core on this base, and here we're gonna go through, how to take down this base, 3-star this base with Super Bowler Smash Attack. And the first thing we need to decide is what to do with the Flame Flinger. And it's not going to take down the Town Hall, obviously, since it's in the center. If we look for expos, which is a main thing that I tend to look for right away. And the expos in this base are all in the center area. They're all ground expos, which is bad for a ground attack. But because those ground expos have just a massive range, and yeah, so they're a little bit further in, but it won't take too long for those ground expos to be able to lock on to the Flame Flinger. And so I would, let's see here. The main part of the ring, there's sort of two rings here. You can see, one's this outer kind of row, and then there's the next ring is this second row, and each one of those kind of go around the base. There's there's breaks in the wall here, so it's not completely closed out rings. But the way this base is, it just it wants to keep the army from getting into the core and just have it circling around in these two channels around the base is kind of what it's designed to do. From that, what we need to do is for funneling, we need to be able to break the ring in this second row. Like say we come in from let's see, like a 230 type of attack, like from this statue here, where this multi-mortar is. Say we break in that way. Well, it means that we're going to need to break the ring in the second tier there, second row, and so take out this air defense for sure, and then take out probably either this cannon or this cannon to be able to break that ring enough to keep the troops from following around the ring and get the troops instead to go into the center. Let's think about where the troops are going to come with the Flame Flinger. First of all, I would be tempted to, like, if we say we look at 12, I want to look at 12 just because 3 and 9 look a little bit tougher with the ground expos kind of further toward that area. So 12 has some appeal to it just because the ground expo is a little bit more to the side, and the eagle, if we can get the Flame Flinger to actually target the eagle, that would be awesome. It's not going to take it down before the main army comes in, but if it can start targeting it and bring it down a little bit, that's always a good thing. And then that means if we did come from, well, let's look at the 6 o'clock side. So 6 o'clock, that would also be a reasonable side to come in with the Flame Flinger too, because the expo is off to the side from this corner as well. And for mortars, there is a mortar kind of like one on either side, but they're towards the edge. It shouldn't be too much of a problem to tank those with Yetis, and maybe even take one of them out with the Loons. So that's a possibility. I usually try, so with the clan castle, I typically try not to smash into the clan castle if I can avoid it, just because if I do trigger that CC for some reason, I mean the Flame Flinger is not going to trigger it by itself, but say the Yetis get in and trigger it, or say I do use Loons to take out the mortar, and the Loons take out the mortar and they trigger the CC. So I do try not to attack. I try to save that CC for on the second end of the attack, the back end of the attack, just to avoid it causing trouble with the entry. The entry is the most important part of this attack. So to simplify the entry it's usually a good thing to do. So that gets me, more thinking about, using the Flame Flinger at 12 o'clock, and then using the Warden either at 3 or at 9 o'clock then. And so the difference between those two entries would be, here this is where I start looking for maybe heroes. If there could be a difference there. And there's a king on this entry, and there's the Warden on this entry. And typically, the Warden, I don't really worry about the Warden as much for, smashing into it. Like, that smash entry is typically, there's normally going to be a rage on that entry. And, so it's a perfect way to take out the king or the queen, and the king just has massive health. Being able to use a rage to take it down with the smash part of the attack is a really nice thing to do. And I typically will put the headhunter in too, along with the entry, just to make that king go down quicker. And get the troops, moving into the core as quickly as we can. And so yeah, that's what I'm thinking about, a 2:30 entry, and with the Flame Flinger at 12 and the Warden at 3. And I didn't actually check ahead of time. I didn't look at this replay ahead of time to see if that's what I actually did. But yeah, let's see. I'll start the replay and see what happens here. Okay. So I did put the Yeti up at top for the Flame Flinger, but I did the Warden at 9 instead. So in this Legends attack, I wasn't, it didn't bother me about the king. I might not even have got to that level of detail when I was looking at it. And the Warden is drawing fire from the cannon and that X-bow. Usually when there's multiple point, I have to put the freeze down with multiple point defenses targeting the Warden. And here I put the king down to pull the Warden out because he was drawing fire, and I didn't want him to lose his ability. I ended up putting another freeze on that ground ball. The ground ball keeps targeting the Warden, which is unfortunate. I mean, that's bad. I don't want the Warden a Warden ability. So let me just hold it up here, because it's kind of, the attack is really starting to get away from me. Just being able to talk about it, I mean, and so that I wanted to just add that X-bow targeting the Warden. I don't like that to be happening, because it means the healers are gonna stay on the Warden, and I don't want the healers, after I start the smash attack, I really want the healers moving from the Warden to the bowlers is what I want to have happen. So if the Warden is taking fire from expos or from, you know, scattershot or from some other defense, it usually is an expo though, because the expos have such long range. I will try to freeze that so that the main army can get ahead of the Warden and draw the fire from the expo instead of the Warden. And then if the Warden's not taking any fire, then and the super bowlers are taking the fire, then the healers should move to the super bowlers. And that's really what I want. I want the super bowlers to be topped off and staying alive as long as possible. And the Warden is behind everything anyhow, so it shouldn't matter. So for this entry, I just did a rage on the entry, and the Warden's ability, just as the troops were about to enter the core and start taking on heavy damage here. So another rage goes down ahead of the town hall for the super bowlers, and we've got a rage on the super bowlers. We've got the healers following in from behind, and they're going to be raged. Raging all the, healing up all the troops as they go in. And that expo is still, I don't know if that expo is still targeting the Grand Warden or not. But hopefully the Warden will, hopefully the healers will move to the super bowlers. And so the Royal Champion coming in from the opposite side from the Flame Flinger. Flinger is going to open pretty soon here because of that multi-mortar. It's fine. See if the Yetis can take out the king. In the core, the bowlers are just, they're bouncing through all of a lot of the defenses in there, but they are going down. All the rages are gone, but they're still barely staying alive. The super bowlers is kind of tanking for the queen there, and I think the healers are still healing the Warden in this case. Yeah, so not the greatest. But the queen is managing to get through the rest of the defenses in the core. The Royal Champion has gone down, so now it's basically just up to the queen and the Warden to finish off the rest of this base, and there's no defenses left now. I mean, if you can get normally with this type of a base, the bowlers are gonna go down in the core, and but often the queen ends up surviving, and once the defenses in the core go down, on these types of ring bases, there's normally nothing left to cause that much trouble. And so in this case, it means another 3-star for a super bowler smash attack.